All right. Hi, welcome back to our second video. And today we'll be talking more on the goal setting part for the athletes, even in this period. And why is goal setting even important when you're not actually practicing? So
Hmm.
we have Mugdha with us today again. And
Hi.
hi. And we just thought we'll discuss more on why is goal setting important even in this period for athletes.
Yeah.
So I think,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah. Basically, goal setting right now is very important. As I spoke yesterday also, because this is the time where it's seen that players would start to some extent losing motivation or losing drive because
right,
they really don't know what's in front of them. Maybe a month later, or 2 months, or 3 months down the line.
right,
Okay, and once they don't have anything in front of them, it's very difficult for them to motivate themselves or build that drive into themselves to
correct.
achieve something. And that's the reason why setting a goal, and how do we set a goal, that we would be definitely explaining it now. But setting a goal becomes a very important aspect for all the athletes, whether they are grassroots level athletes or elite athletes. So
Correct.
at least to keep up with those drives and with that motivation level, it's very important even for the coaches to help players set a goal, and even for the players to set a goal for themselves.
Absolutely. And I think, I think to add to this, it's also important for the players themselves to understand that, okay, even if I'm not practicing, I need to have certain goals in my mind, which
Yeah,
are
yeah,
on paper, which will help me achieve, what I actually aim to do, say, probably 1 year down the line or 6 months down the line. Because
yes.
even today's situation will matter 6 months down the line, because it's
Correct,
going to be a
correct.
long period of, being at
True,
home.
true.
So I think, if we were just talking about it even before this video, that it's more of setting goals from, say, fitness perspective, nutrition perspective, or like even from the
Correct.
personal perspective. So
True.
how do you think, an athlete needs to set these goals, like, how they should plan, like, because most of the concerns would be like, okay, what should I do right now? I think,
What should I do?
yeah,
Exactly.
yes. So I think the most important thing
Having
first, yeah.
Yeah, so having a pattern to set a goal, which we usually keep talking about, having a goal, having or setting a goal, there are certain rules and certain stages in which the players actually can start setting a goal. So
Correct.
we see that there are stages of goal setting, which
Right.
starts from like immediate goal, then it comes your short term goal, then it is your intermediate, and then it is your long term goal. Now
Correct.
in this situation, current situation, there is nothing right now immediately that they really want to get into to achieve. But what
Right.
we come into goal setting right now is in the reverse order.
Hmm.
So what they need to right now do is look from the long term perspective, maybe 1 year down the line, where
Correct.
do they want to reach, or where do they want to see themselves reaching. So what we again call it as a kind of a need analysis or a gap analysis. So find out where you are right now on four aspects. That
Hmm.
is obviously their fitness level, their skill level, their mental toughness, and their nutrition or a diet plan. So
Correct.
once you know where you stand right now and where you want to reach 1 year down the line, you can definitely chart out a program for yourself, and that's what we call it as a goal. Okay,
Correct.
so you will know what I want to achieve 1 year down the line, then come back to the stage which is below that, that's called an immediate goal.
Yeah.
Maybe in next 6 months, where do I see myself, which will be
Hmm.
connected to my 1 year goal. Okay,
Correct.
and then coming back to again your immediate goal.
Right.
So right now maybe I'm locked down for 21 days or a month maybe, and what is it that I can actually start implementing. So this is how the players on four different aspects they can start setting their goals.
True. And I think, what they need to keep in mind is what is in their control right now, because you
Exactly.
can't
Yeah.
be unrealistic and, start thinking about technical changes, or like,
True,
all
true,
those things
true.
related to what is
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
beyond your control. So what is
yeah.
in your hands right now, I think focus more on that, like especially
Correct,
fitness, consult your fitness trainers, consult your
correct.
nutritionist, and see how you can still remain, in your fitness
Exactly.
capacity, which probably you
True.
need once you start training
Yeah,
back on
yeah.
field. Yeah, so
True, true.
that is very important when it comes to sports related goals. And I think secondly, they need to focus on the personal development goals, which again
True.
is a big challenge when they don't have time. because ultimately yeah, I think that is also an important part right now, so that their
Yeah,
mental health is also stronger, because they're doing
correct.
something productive. So
Exactly.
I think we've seen many cricketers, many football players. I've been reading in the news that they are taking up a lot of other lessons. Like yesterday also we
Exactly.
spoke about a football player taking up piano lessons, something which
Correct.
you always wanted to do but probably didn't get the time.
Yes.
So that those
Correct.
also
Yeah. So
could be,
personal
yeah.
goals, of course. Yeah, yeah, of course, because it's something to really keep up their mood.
Hmm.
That's and a little away from their sport. So
Right.
that also is a kind of a thing which can motivate you and
Correct.
can give you that push, because you're really loving what you are doing. So
Right.
it could be painting, it could be drawing, it could be like creating certain things,
Correct.
getting on to learning any kind of musical instrument, anything that you are really good at and which you didn't really get time to do for such a long time. This
Correct.
is what you can actually pursue your hobbies, and that's a very good time for you to do. Even reading, for that matter, is something which
Yes.
players can take up.
Correct. Yeah, I think, yeah, we spoke about it in detail yesterday about reading, like, taking up
Yeah,
something which you always wanted to read, but you didn't have the time. That's something
true,
what,
true.
you can start doing right now.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
also, another thing, yeah, as you rightly said, improving upon skills. So some people, I guess, maybe wanting to study for some
yeah,
further
yeah,
degree, or like that also could be done now. And secondly, personal skill development, like say cooking, or like something that's going to help
correct.
you ultimately build some hobbies, or like something which will keep your mind fresh. I think that also is a way of taking care of
Ex-
yourself and developing personal
exactly,
personally.
exactly.
So that's a
True,
very
true.
important area as well. Sports goal is one side, personal goals again is
Personal
another
goals.
part.
Yeah,
And I think it's important to focus on both, because personal goals is something what is always here in the mind, that okay, I want to learn this, I want to do that, but then probably
correct,
writing
correct.
it down somewhere, as we always maintain, say, take a journal or like write it down in a diary. I think it's very important to do it right now also,
Very
because
true, true.
there'll be a lot of days which I think players will be just thinking about, acha mujhe is pe kaam karna hai, us pe kaam karna hai, but then it's not happening. So ultimately
Happening.
a
Yeah,
plan is important, so that your routine is
true, true,
set. I think
true.
that's, yeah, so that's important to put it down somewhere in a diary, or probably on a board, or anywhere
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
feel like, okay, this is good.
Right.
We need to do these things, like a to-do list.
True, true, true.
So I think
Yes,
that
yes.
is important tool to complete your goal setting process. So
Correct.
yes. Yeah. And I think to end it all is ultimately a good routine,
Yeah.
because goal setting is ultimately a good way to develop a routine, which
Mm-hmm.
on days where even they're practicing, routine is important. So now, even if you're
Yeah.
not practicing, actually you need that routine to be the same, like
Correct, 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 correct.
especially sleep. I think that would be compromised if many of them go into the lethargic mode, wherein you probably sleep late, get up late, then
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a challenge. So I think what do you think on that?
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, see, for athletes, because they're always going to remain as athletes. Okay,
Yes.
even after this lockdown period, they're going to come back and remain as athletes. So for
Right.
them, it's very important rest and recovery and keeping up to their performance what they were earlier. I think maintenance is very important for them.
Correct.
And for that matter, yeah, routine, following a routine, because that also leads to giving that kind of a confidence that yes, I've been doing and following certain things which I was doing earlier. So these
Right.
are also skills, mental skills training, I would say, which
Yes.
will help you to be confident, which will help you to maintain that kind of yeah, that
Drive.
confidence in you,
Yeah.
that I've been doing certain things earlier and I'm maintaining it right now also. So
Correct.
following a routine in terms of getting up, following your fitness timings, following
Correct.
your breakfast, lunch, dinner timings, sleeping on time,
Yes.
all these matter a lot for the players to, again, ultimately it leads to giving you a kind of a control over
Correct.
the situation,
Correct.
because they should not at any moment feel that everything is just going
Going
haywire and I
haywire.
have no control over. So
Mhm.
having that control over the situation, and for
Right.
that matter, following a routine and a schedule is very, very important.
True. I completely agree with that part. Like, especially because I think once you get back in on field, you shouldn't be in that
Yeah,
space that, as athletes, ki, अरे फिर से routine करना पड़ेगा, फिर से I have to.
True.
So now that maintenance is important, and I think
Is
goal
important.
setting will help in that. Like ultimately, that's going to help in that as well.
Exactly.
So I think quick takeaways from today's video: setting goals for sports, personal development, as well as maintaining a good routine through your day, and especially not compromising on your sleep and rest. That is something what you need to focus on in the days that you are at home locked down. And try to maximize your capacity at home. I think that's something what you need to do as athletes, by keeping the why question, like why did you choose to become an athlete. That shouldn't go away. And yes, so I guess that's all for goal setting. Mugdha, any last points?
No, that's it. So all the best, I think, for all the athletes. I know it's a difficult time for them.
Correct.
I know it's because they're surrounded by too many negativities and too many uncertainties. But I think once looking at yourself and asking that question, as you said, that, why am I an athlete? Why have I chosen a sport? And where is it going to lead me? Because see, these are certain, I would say, adversities that we face even in our normal sports.
Right.
Okay. And we are very much trained for overcoming these adversities in our sport. Now, this is a situation where every athlete is facing worldwide. So I think consider it as an adversity and think about the ways in which you can bounce back these situations.
Correct.
So I think that's also a great learning lesson which all the athletes can carry it with them.
True. Great. All right. So tomorrow, I think we'll have another video which will focus more on just the mental training aspects, like, what to continue, what you need to do to probably, keep your routine alive and going, and what beyond goal setting, like what needs to be done to maintain your calm, mellow down your anxiety and so on. So looking forward for the next video interaction, and thank you, Mugdha. We'll see you all tomorrow. And until then, keep it up. Great.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye. Bye.